But now this is what really makes me nervous, is the CGC 9, okay? So this is a reverse hollow. Again, the card we looked at previous was a hollow. There are almost no scratch, or no, not almost. There are no scratches on the front. Often with the reverse hollow, because you have so much of this card being hollow area, very easy to scratch, there are no scratches on this reverse hollow. Corners are very good. The big issue with this card, well, it's not an issue condition-wise, is when you look at these corners, out of all the cards we've looked at 4 cards prior to this one. The corners on this card and the edges are the best of all the cards we've seen. There is not one single issue with cornering on this card. I think this is a real shame that this card only graded a 9. And if you guys are seeing something that I'm not seeing on this card, I ask you guys to let me know down in the comments. But like I said, look at how good that corner is. Look at that corner. These corners, I mean, talk about a pack fresh card. This card went from pack to sleeve in T-minus 0 seconds. The fact that this card graded a 9 is really a shame. This is a extremely strong 9 in my opinion. The fact that it graded so low, I don't know what it would take to bump this card up to a 9.5, and then to go one step further for this card to be perfect. I have no clue. Like, you know, the crazy thing is this card for PSA, for the Flareon being a rare, is actually a pretty valuable card, even in PSA 9. I have to now crack this slab and submit it to PSA. And I'm pretty confident I'm going to get a 10 on that. Same thing with this Jolteon, you know? We got a 9, 9.5, 9, 9. Let's look at the back. I see a little corner nick right there. But if you think that's enough to keep it away from a PSA 10, you're wrong. And I'll prove that at the end of the video. But man, it's just, this whole return is just so disappointing. 8.5 centering. Fuck you, CGC.
Few moments later.
Now this card, if you're not new to my channel, is actually a pretty famous card on my channel. This was the first CGC card that I ever bought. It was a reverse hollow Raichu from Skyridge. And when I looked at this card, and this was before I ever got a single submission back from CGC, I made a video just about this card, how I thought it was so criminally underrated by CGC. And I became extremely worried about my submission. And this was my first ever video where I critiqued CGC. The comment section in the video where I talked about this card, people were so negative to me, said there was no way that that card was well graded, all these things. So finally, after almost a 1.5 years worth of people being naysayers, we got the grade back and it went from a 9 to a Gem Mint 10. So for a reverse hollow from Skyridge, a 10 is an absolutely beautiful grade. It only took me about 18 months to say, guess what? I told you so on that Raichu. Next, this was part of the theme decks that I had cracked, submitted to CGC. I think the title of that video was like, fuck you, CGC. And I had this Flareon graded a 9 at CGC after submitted to PSA. Hit the Gem Mint 10. Again, this was part of that same submission. We had the Jolteon from Skyridge non-hollow, hit the 9 after resubmitted. We got the PSA 10. And then finally, the last card is the Vaporeon. It hit the 9 at CGC, and after resubmission, it hit the 10. So out of the cards that came out of the submission that I was most upset about, that I made a video and everybody told me I was crazy, all this stuff, currently we have 100% crossover rate from CGC 9s to PSA 10s.